Lesson number 10 this morning in your workbooks, page 67. Last week we were studying, about Saul. He had been united as king. In other words, he had took over as king, and really the people rejected him in a sense. They did not want him to be the king, even though they said they wanted the king, but the one that was chosen to be the king, they didn't want him. And they didn't give him no present, and didn't show a good tidings as when he was had been appointed. And so and immediately, after he had been appointed king, problems arise, and he had to make a decision about about to go into war. And some reason them and the Philistines always had a problem. And the Philistines were pretty tough. And they wanted to rule everything and take over everything, so against God's people at all times. So Samuel was a man that pretty much he sort of tutored Saul along the way, and even though Saul was appointed king, Samuel was the judge, and he still helped him along and told him what to do and what not to do according to the Lord. And and as Samuel went on, as we get into the lesson today, we're going to see Samuel make some decisions that was not good. And a lot of times that we do that as people. We go on our own consent and, try to do things that we think might be right. But what Samuel did, before we get in the lesson, it was a thing that he did not know it because he was waiting on, Saul was waiting on Samuel, getting name mixed up. And Saul did not show up when he said he was going to show up. Samuel did. And so Saul made a decision based on what a lot of men would try to do. But it backfired. It wasn't what the Lord wanted him to do. So, but last week we stopped right before the end of the chapter number 12, where that, if you have your books in chapter 12 of 1 Samuel, where that Samuel had called the Lord, and he's going to send thunder and rain down on them to make them fear the Lord. They turned it back on the Lord. And early in the chapter, the Lord had told them that they had did just like their forefathers. They always turned it back and would not do right. Sometimes we have people that we know they just won't do right. And the only way they do right, some had to scare them or whatever, or sickness, or somebody had to get hurt, or then they start thinking about the Lord again. And so that's just the nature of people, So if you have your Bible with you, chapter 12, beginning at, I just bag up to verse 16 again, 15, so come on down. But if ye, the book said, but if ye will not obey the voice of the Lord, but rebel against the commandments of the Lord, then shall the hand of the Lord be against you, as it was against your father. So it was against their father because the father didn't do right. Now therefore stand and see this great thing which the Lord will do before your eyes. 17, is it not wheat harvest today? I will call unto the Lord, and he shall send thunder and rain, that ye may perceive and see that your wickedness is great, which ye have done in the sight of the Lord, as in asking you a king. So Samuel's telling them, hey, look, he's going to ask the Lord to send rain and thunder on them, that they might see that they wickedness, what they had done asking for a king. And here, reading, it seems like he's saying, well, look, I'm going to ask the Lord to send this so he can scare you or teach you a lesson because you asked for a king, which the Lord was supposed to be their king in the beginning. That's who they supposed to follow, but they wanted an earthly king like the other nation. If someone would you take the next 18, 19, and 20 and read those verses?
So Samuel called unto the Lord, and the Lord sent thunder and rain that day. And all the people greatly feared the Lord and Samuel. And all the people said unto Samuel, pray for the servant unto the Lord thy God that we die not, for we have added unto all our sins this evil to ask us they can.
Do 20, you know, man.
Need more point?
Yes.
And Samuel said unto the people, fear not, you have done all this wickedness, yet turn not aside from following the Lord, but serve the Lord with all your heart. Okay.
So Samuel, you know, he asked the Lord to send that thunder and rain that they might fear. And so, you know, a lot of times people won't do nothing if they didn't fear something. You know, I'm just be honest. You know, you know, we as people, if we didn't fear the law or going to jail, getting locked up, people just wouldn't do right. And some of them, even though they know these consequences, they still ain't gonna do it. They try to get by with doing this and get by with doing that, and they know good and well what's gonna happen if you get caught. But they want to take that chance, you know. So, and I'm not making fun of nobody. There was some young men, most of y'all heard on TV, was on a car and it was a high-speed chase and they ran to a telegram pole. Now, and the police one of the guys got hospitalized because he got hurt and the other guy jumped out and left him and they had drugs and everything in the car. You know, I always figured, you so big and bad, why you running? You know, I'm saying that's something I always thought, and you so tough, you could do this and that, why are you running? You know, it don't make sense. You know, you remember the old Western days, you know, someone would run this and then shoot it out. but most of them run. You know, I'm big and bad, but no sooner the trouble comes, I'm going. Okay, sister.
Every time they catch them, they have money and they have guns.
Yeah.
So the guns must be for the other people that are big and bad for. Because there's no reason on the call. But I wanted to comment on the scripture.
Mm-hmm.
One of the reasons I feel that he asked for the rain and the thunder and all that too is so the people didn't start worshiping the king instead of the Lord. He's saying again, before you get this king in place really well, know who your God is. Right. Worship God. Because these people want to see him as a king right here on earth.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, as we get to the end of this chapter, it's going to really point that out. You know, okay, end of the question.
Thunder and rain will get your attention.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like, man ain't doing this. It's, you know.
Yeah, they know that.
Remember the flood and like, wow, we have really made him angry.
Yeah. And all that loud kaboom, thunder, you know, and stuff trembling and shaking. Hey, that'll get your attention. You know, you wonder, what can I do? You know, when I was coming up as a kid, you know, always, and our parents always made us, when it was lightning or thunder, made you cut the TV off, sit down, and be quiet. You know, so that's the Lord work. You know, be quiet, be respectful, you know, because a lightning bolt might come down and hit your key.
We don't know how strong that storm was. I mean, we had one pretty decent come through this last week, you know. Mm-hmm. That stuff will wake you up and get your attention real quick, like you said.
Yeah. You hear kaboom. Yeah. Yeah. And they know, you know that can't nobody do that but the Lord. And you know he's in control. Whether people get hurt or whatever, he's still in control. He's in charge, you know. But the Lord, he have mercy on whom he will. And sometimes, you know, it might need to come through and clean up a place or do something, whatever, you know, to get people's attention to turn back to him, like right here.
Well, this one was designed
For it.
to show them that they were dependent on God still. This was the wheat harvest day.
Yeah.
This was their livelihood, their food for the next 6 months, you know. And God's fixing to wipe it out in that storm.
Yeah,
They
that's
can't
right.
use it.
Mhm.
They're dependent on Him. They forgot.
Yeah. That's right. Okay, any other question or comments? Okay, verse 21. And turn ye not aside, for then should ye go after vain things which cannot profit nor deliver, for they are vain. For the Lord will not forsake his people for his great name's sake, because it has pleased the Lord to make you his people. So even though the Lord come down and he punish them or do stuff, they was his chosen people. And he not going to forsake them. Even though he going to punish them. But he not going to forsake them because he had chosen them. They didn't choose him, he chose them. You know, you look at how that is. We didn't choose the Lord, Lord chose us too, you know. So here, Israel, he always loved them, didn't care what they did. They turned their back on him time and time again. But he punished them, but he always spared a lot of them because they was his people and that he loved. And he always made a way to help them, didn't care what they did. Like a parent would do their child don't do right, but you still love them. You still gonna do what you can to help. Okay, 23. Moreover, as for me, God forbid that I should sin against the Lord in season to pray for you, because I will teach you good and the right way. So Samuel's still going to say, I'm still going to pray for you. In a sense, he said, well, you know, I all night, you know, but I'm still going to do it because it's going to help you. You need it. You know, sometimes people get mad. I ain't going to do this. I ain't going to do this. But, you know, a lot of times you might be upset, but you still need to help them. And you know, look at the whole picture, not just because you were mad. You know, that's what Jonah did. The Lord wanted to go down and preach to Nineveh. He didn't like them. He wanted them to be, he didn't want them to be saved. And so when God got through with him, you know, we know what happened. So.
Hey, wow.
Yeah.
I just want to ask Claire a question. I know the sin is a sin. This is the patriotic time we're talking about now. But what I'm saying, I wonder are we worse in the Christian age than the people was in Moses' time? And
Back during that time? I think.
No, I just said them thinking.
About the same. you know, to be honest.
We got more to get
You
into
didn't have
that.
CNN back then.
Huh?
You just didn't have the news coverage back then.
People's are people, and we doing the same thing people did back then. As a whole, you know.
Yeah.
The same thing is happening day in and day out. But you know, more back then, you know, it was more like that. You had to look unto certain leaders that the Lord had put in place. And they was going to come, you know, put the word out there and everything. But to answer your question, I guess we got the same.
It's still simple.
Yeah, like I said, sin is sin, regardless of what. Anybody else want to come in? All right, you know.
You still have people that don't believe. You still have idol worshipers, Buddha and all that. People worshiping Virgin Mary and all that, you know.
They're
say
still asking for a
organized,
king.
they believe it all.
They're still asking for a king.
Okay.
That a man-made king.
Yeah,
What
but
kind?
I mean, maybe we're worse now though, because before, you know, there's a lot of Bible after where we are right now.
Yeah.
We've got all of this all the way to the end, so maybe that speaks to your point. So we ought to know all of this too, and they didn't have that.
We got more history that we can look back on and see what happened. You know, but he still told them at that time they had a little history because Their fathers rebelled against them.
Right.
And it is still to me, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. People's a people.
Right, and then after this time, Jesus came and was on the earth.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Jesus came. We still-
Himself.
Jesus' time, we could go up and talk to him. Jesus came and stood. And you still have atheists today.
Right. Okay, someone, verses 24 and 25, someone take those, please.
Only fear the Lord and serve him in truth with all your heart. For consider how great things he hath done for you. But if ye shall still do wickedness, ye shall be consumed, both ye and your king.
Hit the nail, the hammer hit the nail, bam, right on the head. You know, if you still do wickedness, you and your king, the king gonna be responsible, and you too. No one is left out. If you don't do what the Lord asks you to do, both of you gonna be responsible. You know, somebody say, "Oh no, Wiley gonna be responsible." No, you is too. So, it'll get you too. You know, the teacher, the preacher, the whatever, the deacon, the elder, they gonna be responsible. Yeah, but the regular Christian got a part too. You gonna be, hey.
It's like today,
Mm-hmm.
people say, well, I have to do this because the law says. But if you read this, it says, you do what the law says as long as it does not conflict with what God says.
Right.
But people still say, well, you know, the president, the senator, they say do. And I'm marrying God.
Mm-hmm.
You do what God says.
That's right. He's the final authority when it comes down to it. For your life and whatever, you know. Okay, any other question, comment? Okay, we're going to go on to chapter 13. At verse 1, Saul reigned 1 year, and when he had reigned 2 years over Israel, Saul chose him 3,000 men of Israel, whereof 2,000 were with Saul in Mishmash and the Mount Bestel, and 1,000 were with Jonathan in Gilbert and Benjamin, and the rest of the peoples he sent every man to his tent. Someone take verses 3 and read through verse 5, if you will, please.
And Jonathan attacked the garrison of the Philistines that was in Geba, and the Philistines heard of it. Then Saul blew the trumpet throughout all the land, saying, "Let the Hebrews hear." Now all Israel heard it said that Saul had attacked a garrison of the Philistines, and that Israel had also become an abomination to the Philistines. And the people were called together to Saul at Gilgal. Then the Philistines gathered together to fight with Israel, 30,000 chariots and 6,000 horsemen, and people as the sand, which is on the seashore in multitude. And they came up and encamped in Mishmash to the east of Beth-aven.
Okay, so Israel made the Philistines mad. Okay, now Jonathan that's Saul's son. You know, he had this group, and they went in and whooped up on him, and they're like, you done started something now. We mad. We gonna get you. You know, we got to get y'all now. You know, so anyway, so it's going on here now. It's going to be a great battle, and Israel they really scared. And as we go through, you know, we're gonna see a lot of things. What happened? They fled and everything, and even Saul, he took some men and he ran. You know, hid himself and stuff. You know, but you know, still, you know, God with you. Why would you do all this? You know, but there go again. That's Maine. That's Maine. Okay. Back in our books, lesson book, verse number 6. When the men of Israel saw that they were in danger, for the peoples were distressed, then the peoples hid in caves, in thick thickness in rocks, in holes, and in pits. And some of the Hebrews crossed over the Jordan to the land of Gad and Gilead. And as for Saul, he was still in Gilgad, and all the people followed him trembling. So they were very afraid. They thought fleeing, running, hidden in caves and in the woods. I get the thickness, I get that mean in the wooded area. I get that's what I can picture in my mind. Holes and pits, I guess the caves and all that stuff. They started, when they had heard of this, what was going to happen they knew that they was going to be after them. So the Philistines, were going to come after them. So they were scared. Of course, they were coming. They thought flee.
They scattered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They didn't come together and, with God, they scattered and everyone trusted in themselves and whatever they thought.
After all the time, after all the time God had saved them and fought battles for them, it seemed like that would be the first thing I would do, consult with Saul, with Samuel, what God wants us to do. Then Saul, because Samuel pretty much guided Saul along here. Saul was a young fella. He didn't quite went up the par right now, I would say, know what to do. He needed someone older to help him in advice, and that's what God wanted Samuel to do anyway, for Saul. And that's what should have been done right off the bat. Consult with what God wants us to do, or how God wants us to do this.
But God said, why it took more than 7 days for Saul to come?
Well,
I don't understand what happened.
Well, I guess, I'm going to say this, and I might not be right. Some of you all might have a better opinion than me. But as it goes on, what you said in verse number 8, then he waited 7 days, according to the time set by Samuel. But Samuel did not come to Gilgad, and the people were scattered from him. So, I don't know why he didn't show up in the 7 days.
It was like you said, Saul wanted to consult with Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And he was expecting Samuel, somewhere or another, he was expecting Samuel there.
To be there within that time
And
frame.
he didn't make it. And then Saul said, well, okay, I'll just do what Samuel did the last time. I'll offer a burnt offering and pray to God to do something,
Yeah.
like the thunderstorm that Samuel had done.
Yeah.
But
That wasn't what God told him to do, but the average man would probably think that. Just be honest.
And then it showed that still he consulted, he tried to consult the Lord, he tried to talk to the Lord himself, because he didn't know what's going on. There's the man that's appointed to help him not here. This is what he did, and he may not have been.
He wasn't anointed to do that. But go ahead.
I understand,
Yeah.
he didn't understand, he didn't know what was going on.
yeah,
This was not his true religion. This is not something he needed to do. He's doing what he saw that had been done. And he's been waiting 7 days. Everybody's coming out on 7 days in a peril is a long time. But I see it says he usurped his authority to the priest's office.
or he's starting to think in his head,
That he is.
I'm king.
Okay.
He should make the decision.
You
Yeah.
know, Samuel's not gonna do it. I'm the king, I can do it.
Samuel ain't here. Samuel not here. We need someone.
I
Okay.
think one of the keys to the whole thing is that as soon as he did that burnt offering, Samuel came. I think it was a test of faith.
That's what I was.
Without any question in my mind, because Saul needed to realize that he was not king of God's king. He was not that kind of king. He was underneath him. He was underneath Samuel too.
Right. And Samuel, God appointed Samuel to be with Saul to help him in all this, I would say, the religious part, because Saul was a young, and he really didn't understand a lot of things. He did. Saul was still, Samuel was tutoring Saul. even though he was the king, because he was not a religious, I put it like that, to go between God, like Samuel would. And so, but you know, there go again. When you get to be king or over everybody, you know, a lot of times you think, well, this is what I do because I'm the person in charge. But it's, you know, it wasn't what God wanted. And Samuel didn't show up in the time frame that studying, and when I first read it, why he did. But one thing, and again, like she said, yeah, I think it might have been that God might have had it not, but this test, well, after we go through this, he's going to say that, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, that the reason he did this, that's why he's going to be rejected from the king, because he did not trust in God. Should have let God probably work his way out through who he had to do. You know, that's just like me getting up trying to make decisions for everybody and without even consulting with them. And, you know, I'm just going to make the decision.
All that bottom toe.
And
But-
there's pride too.
Yeah,
Pride.
yeah.
I think we all find ourselves doing that. We pray to God, I want you to handle this, and you don't handle it in our time frame. We're like, oh, well, he just needs my help. You know, he just didn't hear me. And then we really mess it up.
Yeah. Well, this was Saul that he messed up bad. And so, and he was going to be the man that the Lord was going to let reign over his people until that happened. Okay.
God was still kind of like their backup. They wanted their cake and eat it too. It's still nothing's changed. You know, we want they always put God number two. It seems like when push came to shove, you know, when it was easy, God was in front, and then when it got hard, they put God behind them. And then when they were in trouble, then they went to God.
They put God number one when trouble.
Before you ever get into trouble, go to God first. You know.
Yeah. And that's hard for a lot of people to do. Even when you make decisions, you need to seek God advice or what would be the best to do. And a lot of times, you know, it's hard to say sometimes. He's not going to just say, hey, Colin, don't do this. You know, you had to use his wisdom and knowledge of what you learned through the scripture. And you know, and I heard a lot of people say, well, God told me this. I said, what he said? How he said it? You trying to be funny. I'm saying, you say he told you. You know, well, he came to me in a vision and I had a dream. I said, well, why you said that you had a dream or whatever? You know, he didn't just tell you that out of the blue. Some people say he just spoke to him. We know that by studying the word now. That is not how it happened. But he did it back then to his leaders. And when he had to speak out to his people when they got rebellious and had to scare them and do stuff. But he don't talk to us that way now. Through the scripture is how you learn about him and how he talked to us by studying. Okay. Verses 9 and 10. Someone take those two verses, please.
Saul said, bring Hitler a burnt offering to me, and a peace offering. And he offered the burnt offering. And it came to pass that as soon as he had made an end of the offering, burnt offering, behold, Samuel came, and Saul went out to meet him, that he might salute him.
Okay. So, like he said, as soon as he did, you know, he went there within the 7-day time frame like he said he would. But that might have been like a test to see. But he made the wrong decision. And then Saul, then Samuel, I keep getting the name mixed up. Samuel had to come right on and tell him what he had did. You know, and with good faith, I believe Saul was trying to do what he thought was right. You know, and a lot of we try to do what was right. A lot of people out there trying to do what they think right or believe right, but it's not right. You know.
We don't think it through though.
Yeah.
He'd already been told
Yeah.
Samuel would be the one who would do the offerings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he knew that was not his job.
Right.
And we don't think it through.
But yeah, you're right. But there go again, that man. Samuel's not there. Where is he? Where is he? You know, he said he'd be here in 7 days. I got to do something to keep the Philistines off of. You know, that's what he was thinking about. I got to do something to keep the Philistines off of, man. People scattering, I'm running, I'm scared. What I'm gonna do? You know, but he went on his own tuitions and did what he thought might have been right. Verse 11, and Samuel said, "What have you done, Saul? When I saw the people were scattered from me, and that you did not come within the day appointed, and the Philistines gathered together in Mishmar." So, there it is. Samuel didn't show up in the time frame he was supposed to show up. And Saul got scared. And, you know, when you get to it, that was the bottom line. He got scared. I got to do something. He panicked. I got to do something. Verse 12. Then I said, the Philistines will now come down on me at Gilgal, and I have not made supplication to the Lord. Therefore, I felt compelled to offer a burnt offering. So he knew that offering needed to be made, and he felt that, hey, right now the Philistines gonna come down on him, and he felt like that. Why Samuel wasn't there to pray for him and make the offering to go between the Lord, that he had to do, because he was scared and he was being distressed. You know, when pressure get on people, a lot of people, they say pressure busts a ball, pipes and everything. A lot of times when people get scared and pressurized, they would do things that you think they would not do. You know, for fear. They would do. And Saul did not do the right thing, but he was scared. And a lot of us do things when we get scared or get panicked when our back against the wall. You know, those sayings that, you know, a lot of times if you walked in that man's shoes, what would you do? Death on you, what would you do? If the same thing was on you. You know, to me, that's just a thing that normal man would do, but you were so right. He was not appointed to do that. So he should have knew better, but I'm going to be honest, that when people get scared, they do a lot of things. Any question or comment? Okay, so the last verse, 13. And Samuel said to Saul, "You have done foolishly. You have not kept the commandment of the Lord your God, which he commanded you. For now the Lord would have established your kingdom forever, over Israel forever, excuse me." So, but him doing that stopped that from being happening, because he was gonna be the kingdom. He was gonna be the king over Israel forever, I guess, until he died. And so, but by him doing that put an end to it. And so, and another thing too, as reading here, it says that, you know, he came on outside of hard, which a lot of people might, you have done foolishly. Oh, you didn't make a good decision. You did foolish things. You have not kept the commandment. So it was a commandment. So he should have knew that he wasn't supposed to do this again. And so, but he did. But he thought that he was doing what it needed to be done. Another question or comment? Okay. Will someone take verse 14 and 15, please?
But now your kingdom shall not continue. The Lord has sought for himself a man after his own heart, and the Lord has commanded him to be commander over his people, because you have not kept what the Lord commanded you. Then Samuel arose and went up from Gilgal to Gibeah of Benjamin, Saul numbered the people present with him, about 600 men.
Okay? So it was a law. Saul should have known. But he acted on his own will or whatever and got himself kicked out of which he would have been the king probably as long as he could. And so, and you know, and one thing I like by studying this here, even all back to the other guys that was judges, Eli, when they did something, the Lord had his next man in line or whatever just come to him and tell them what they did wrong. And they were not going to reign. He was going to replace them. And it was going to happen. And you know, but one thing they did, but they stood and ranged until the Lord replaced them. You know, a lot of times you tell somebody that today, well, you're not going to be the king no more. Your king going to be taken from you. Your office going to be taken from you. I quit. Well, you handle it yourself. Bam, throw the book and walk out. But you know, none of these men did that. They hung in there until the end. So until it was over. You know, the question or comment?
Saul gave David a hard time, though. He didn't make it easy for him to become king.
Yeah.
He did stay on the throne, like you said.
Yeah.
He tried to kill David a lot.
But the Lord wasn't going to have it, though.
That's right.
All right, but when the Lord is in the plan to work things out and he done set things the way he wanted to work out, there's nothing man can do to hinder it. You know, and so Saul, he wanted to reign and stay on as king, but the Lord had said that he was going to put someone else there. Now, I guess he thought in his heart if he killed David, that he still could be the king. But that wasn't the way the Lord wanted. And so, and when we face with stuff in our life, when we see things that we need to learn to accept what it is, and if we have fallen short of sin, let's try to make it right. And we know that God will help us and go with us.